Today, I want to share my thoughts on the recent J.K. Rowling tweet about Marks and Spencer's. You've probably seen it by now. A mum and her daughter were in Marks and Spencer's looking for the girl's first bra. The mum says a staff member, who she believes was a trans woman, offered them help. J.K. Rowling then tweeted about it, called for a boycott, and says Marks and Spencer's is ignoring a recent court ruling on the definition of woman. Now, on the surface, this might sound like some little Twitter drama, but there's actually a lot more going on here. And it's worth slowing down and looking at the bigger picture, because it's not just about one interaction in one store, it's about a pattern. Before we get into today's video, can I ask you a quick favour? If you're enjoying these conversations, please hit the like button. It's free, it only takes a second, and it helps the channel so much. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and tap the bell icon. That way you'll never miss a future video. And finally, leave a comment. Even if you've just clicked on this video out of curiosity, I want to know what you think. Whether you agree, disagree, or have your own story to share. So thank you for watching. Now, let's get back into the video. Let's start with the basics. Marks and Spencer's confirmed the staff member wasn't in the fitting area. She was on the shop floor, simply offering help the way retail staff are trained to do so. A bra fitting in Marks and Spencer's is not some secret ritual behind a curtain. It's a straightforward, professional service. You're fully clothed at all times as they measure over your clothes, and you always have the choice to say no. It's not intimate in the way fearmongers like to make it sound. So right away, the idea that this was some kind of safeguarding emergency just doesn't hold up. If anything, it's an example of good service, a staff member being attentive to a customer's needs. Now, J.K. Rowling claimed Marks and Spencer's were ignoring a recent court ruling about the definition of woman. She's referring to the recent UK Supreme Court judgment that the word woman now means biological female. But here's the thing. That ruling didn't say trans women can't work in retail. It didn't say trans women can't talk to customers. And it didn't say they posed any risk. This is the leap that's constantly made, taking a narrow legal statement and using it as a blunt weapon to push trans people out of public life altogether. This isn't the first time she's done this. Over the last few years, J.K. Rowling has built a whole brand around picking these moments. A shop interaction here, a headline there, and using them to reinforce the idea that trans inclusion equals danger. And because she has millions of followers, it works, even if the original tweet is based on misunderstanding or assumptions. It gets amplified, repeated, and suddenly we've got people all over the country thinking Marks and Spencer's is letting men fit bras. It's a self-feeding outrage cycle. Let's break down the idea of safety. If this was a lesbian staff member offering help, would we be calling her a predator? If this was a black woman, would we be questioning whether she's allowed to give advice? No, of course not. And there's no evidence, zero, that trans women in retail are a threat. The reality is, sexual harassment in shops overwhelmingly comes from customers towards staff, not the other way around. So why is trans the line people draw? Because it's easy to sell fear when you're talking about a group that's already misunderstood. You know, in the UK, we have stores like Ann Summers, and in the US, there's Victoria's Secret, which used to do those huge catwalk shows with celebrity performers. These brands are built entirely around lingerie. Now, imagine the world we're living in today, where people like J.K. Rowling can turn a completely ordinary shop floor interaction into a moral panic. What does that mean for a trans woman who wants to work in a store like that? Marks and Spencer's is a department store. In theory, they could just quietly move a trans employee to another section and still say, we employ trans people. But with a lingerie-only brand, there is no other section. If the thinking is trans women shouldn't be in that space, then you're talking about banning us from the entire business. And even if you get the job, you'd be working under constant risk. All it takes is one customer who doesn't like you, or just doesn't like that you're trans, to say, a trans woman was bothering me whilst I was trying on lingerie. Suddenly, your professionalism doesn't matter. Your actual behaviour doesn't matter. The headline becomes the accusation. That's how discrimination works in the real world. You don't have to pass a law to erase someone from an industry. You just need to make it so risky for the employer to hire them that they quietly stop doing so. And here's where it gets dangerous. Once you make it acceptable to exclude trans women from a job like this, it doesn't stop there. How did this mum even know the staff member was trans? She didn't. She assumed. And once you start policing who is woman enough to work in the lingerie section, you're not just targeting trans women. You're putting a target on any woman who doesn't fit someone's narrow idea of femininity. Tall women, women with deep voices, women with short hair. There are already real examples of cis women being confronted in bathrooms, changing rooms, and yes, at work, because someone decided they look trans. That's where this logic leads. This is part of a wider cultural push in the UK right now, the so-called "what is a woman" debate, political attacks on gender recognition, and a media that's all too happy to run endless scare stories about trans people. It's not new. We've seen it before with other groups. In the 80s, it was the gay teacher panic, where the idea of protecting children was used to push LGBT people out of certain jobs. It's the same playbook, just updated for a new target. And honestly, Marks and Spencer's shouldn't have to apologise here. Their staff offered help politely and professionally, the same way they would to any customer. That's not a scandal. That's good service. If they cave to pressure like this, they set a dangerous precedent that a customer's prejudice can dictate who's allowed a job. So let's call this for what it is. Not safeguarding, but scapegoating. And the fact that someone as influential as J.K. Rowling can amplify that and people just nod along, that's what's really dangerous. Because if we don't push back, this will get louder and it won't stop with us. Today, it's trans women in Marks and Spencer's. Tomorrow, it's any woman who doesn't look or sound right. So if you care about fairness, about people being judged on their actions, not on assumptions, speak up. Support the businesses that stand their ground. And don't let fear, dressed up as protection, dictate who gets to live and work in peace. Thank you so much for watching. If this video meant something to you, please consider giving it a like. It really helps the channel grow. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss a future upload. I'd also like to hear your thoughts. What do you think about today's topic? Leave a comment below. I read every one. And if you'd like to support my work directly, I now have a channel support option. It's just £1 a month, but it helps me more than you know. You can find the link just below this video. Thank you once again, and I'll see you in the next one.